Next stop on our tour of the basics is going to be SMTP. Now, if you're new to email and new to Exchange, you're going to hear a lot of talk about SMTP, and I want you to understand what it is. SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. This is the protocol that's defined in Request for Comments 821. This is what's making the magic happen. This is the protocol that's actually transferring your email from one location to another, usually across the internet. Now, what's an RFC? TCP/IP and most internet technologies have been developed as a combination of everybody's best ideas. So let's say, for example, that you're taking a shower one morning and you have this revelation about some new way of doing something on the internet. And it's like, oh, what if this protocol had this functionality and took care of this issue and took care of that problem, made it faster, more efficient, and so forth. You could write up a proposal for that particular functionality, submit it to this organization, this group of engineers and nerds, and they would look over it and say, wow, it's a pretty good idea. And they would publish it and have people look at it, and it becomes a request for comment then at that point. And it can later on become a standard, but your request for comments is always going to be out there. It may be tweaked. Another request for comment would say, hey, let's do this to that. That's exactly what that is. I tell my live students a lot of times in classroom environments that one of the best things I've seen for requests for comments is if you're having one of those nights when you can't sleep very well, go download a request for comment, start reading it, and I promise you it'll take care of the problem. These are not John Grisham novels by any stretch. These are dry technical descriptions, but when you're wanting to know exactly why something does what it does and how it does it, these things are fabulous for that. Go out to Google, do a search for RFC, and you'll find all kind of index sites, and you can go look at them. Well, 821 describes the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Do understand this is part of the TCP/IP family of Internet protocols, and it's used primarily to send email messages. Now, the basic rule is we use SMTP to send messages. We use POP3 or IMAP4 to retrieve messages. If you don't know what those are, don't worry about it. So we're going to send messages where? From the client to the server? SMTP tends to be an out mechanism. We send mail out, and from server to server out there on the internet. Now what's interesting is Microsoft Exchange has become more and more dependent or compliant with SMTP through various versions. And as a result, now Microsoft uses SMTP in a lot of its situations. For example, when data is being replicated between Exchange servers, it will actually use SMTP to email that replicated information between the servers. Now, what's the big deal with SMTP? Well, first of all, it travels across port 25. This is a standard assignment. SMTP uses port 25, so you'll need port 25 open for this information to come in. But the main thing is it automatically queues undeliverable messages. If I try to send you a message and for whatever reason I cannot deliver it, SMTP takes care of part of the functionality of queuing this undeliverable messages, putting in a storage place, waiting a certain amount of time, and attempting to deliver it again. This is one of its strengths. I just wanted you to know generally what SMTP is because you're going to hear quite a bit about it in the email world. If you're an experienced administrator, you probably knew everything I just said. And so wake up now, go to the next video, and we're going to start talking about how Active Directory fits into this whole picture with Exchange Server 2003.